it was a crazy day. And while there weren't a million surprises, there were certainly a few. For those of you who have not been caught up to date, the Pittsburgh Steelers announced their 53-man roster. On top of that, they placed Jeremiah Moon and Julius Welshoff on injured reserve. Julius Welshoff is shut down for the season. Jeremiah Moon is eligible to return. Not Kyron Johnson, excuse me. Ryan Watts is also shut down for the season. A bit of a shocker there. A guy that was, quote unquote, just a stinger after the game in Detroit. Didn't expect him to be on season-ending IR, which is pretty massive. And then Dylan Cook goes on the 4-week IR, or at least the beginning of the 4-week IR, and we'll go from there. When it comes to the 53-man itself, Scotty Miller makes the team. Des Fitzpatrick does not. And I think the biggest name that surprised everybody is Jalen Elliott, who sneaks his way on there. Beanie Bishop makes the roster. Thomas Graham does not make the roster. I didn't see that one coming. Jack Coletto doesn't make the team. I think by the end of it, we all saw that one coming. Your biggest surprise from this roster, I think mine was Jalen Elliott, and I'll dive into it here in a second.
Yeah, mine was the fact that they're keeping 5 inside linebackers. Both Mark Robinson and Tyler Matakevich make the Steelers 53-man roster. That's obviously to help out with special teams. And they basically said, listen, we trust DeMarvin Leal to be that 4th outside linebacker. And to me, this signals they trust Nick Herbig to be a very big role for them, being that single alternate at the outside linebacker position. Obviously, they can go out and add guys still. They can make some moves, but this signals to me that they have a lot of faith in Nick Herbig, going with only 3 outside linebackers on the initial 53 and going with 5 inside linebackers, both Mark Robb and Tyler Matakevich.
Yeah, it puts a lot of pressure on DeMarvin Leal, but obviously the Pittsburgh Steelers have big hopes in DeMarvin Leal and what he could possibly bring to this team, but he's expected to be the 4th guy now. It'll be Nick Herbig. And don't get me wrong, like the Steelers only typically utilize 3 guys. Last year to utilize 4 was pretty... It was just a nice bonus for the Steelers. It wasn't anything crazy where they usually only have 4 of those guys. But I agree with you. I expected them to keep somebody. I thought it was going to be Kyron Johnston just because of his special teams ability. When it comes to me, it's Jalen Elliott. And I can't tell if I was wrong, if the Steelers were wrong. I have no idea. Because in minicamp and OTAs, I'm telling you guys, Jalen Elliott looks good, man. Jalen Elliott's a sleeper. You got to start watching this kid. I think he's got a shot to make the roster. And then he gets cut, and you're looking at it going, okay, I don't know what happened. I don't know if the Steelers have a different thought than I do. Where do we currently stand? And then he comes back in training camp. At this point, you're thinking there's no shot. And then here he is. He makes the 53-man roster. I just did not see that coming. I mean, it speaks volumes of what they think of this guy. I'll say this. The safety position, I expect to change. I expect the corner and the safety room to look a little bit different in the next 24 to 48 hours or so, which is what we'll dive into next. There weren't many surprises, but I expect more moves to be made. And I expect the Pittsburgh Steelers to look a lot of different ways for guys who are now available.